إن الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا. Respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With the FIFA World Cup currently taking place in Russia, many of us will be watching the games, or at least the highlights, and also discuss the games or our predictions of who will be victorious at the end. I thought that I will take this opportunity to use the comparison of sport and soccer in particular as to how Muslims as a whole should operate. There are comparisons that we can make from the training before the game to teamwork during the match and even the fans supporting their teams. I will begin with teamwork, which is perhaps the most important. The definition of teamwork is a combined action of a group, especially when effective and efficient. In order to be able to have a combined action is to have a common basis for acting out. This common basis for Muslims is what is commanded by Allah in Surah Al Imran, Surah 3 verse 103. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided among yourselves. The rope of Allah is the Quran, and is the only common ground that the various sects that unfortunately exist among Muslims can agree on. The only way that Team Muslim can be successful is to put our differences aside and firstly call ourselves as Muslim. Not Sunni Muslim or Shia Muslim or Sufi Muslim or whatever other subdivisions exist today. We should be striving to unite, not divide, but unfortunately we have seen recently the striving to cause further divisions and hatred among various sects. Regarding this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah An'am, Surah 6 verse 159, as for those who divide their religion and break up into sects, you have no part in them in the least. Their affair is with Allah. He will in the end tell them the truth of all that they did. As Muslims, we should not be spreading and promoting this call for division through the mass media and social media platforms that we have, but distance ourselves from it. For a team to be united, it is not only to accept that we have something in common, but to also work together in the right direction. Surah Ma'idah, Surah 5 verse 2 reads, help you one another in righteousness and piety, but help you not one another in sin and rancor. Fear Allah, for Allah is strict in punishment. Furthermore, we should remember that Team Muslim encompasses everyone working together to achieve our goal. Man and woman. Surah Tawbah verse 71 tells us, the believers, man and woman, are protectors one of another. They enjoin what is just and forbid what is evil. They observe regular prayers, practice regular charity, and obey Allah and His Messenger. On them will Allah pour His mercy, for Allah is exalted in power wise. Everyone has a role to play. In soccer, there are strikers, defenders, and even coaching staff supporting and guiding the teams. Not everyone has the same capabilities, so each should do what they are strongest in, so that the team as a whole can benefit. Some people may be good at dawah work, others at outreach and charity work. Some are studious and can do research, while others teach and educate other Muslims. And others may be good defending and fighting for justice and against oppression. Team Muslim needs to have an all-round team with specialists in all areas and be well prepared. Surah Tawbah verse 122 touches on the different responsibilities of Muslims. Nor should the believers all go forth together. If a contingent from every expedition remained behind, they could devote themselves to studies in religion and admonish the people when they returned to them. Thus they may learn to guard themselves against evil. For a team to be successful, they need to be united. But for unity to last, there needs to be some training. During training, you get a chance to work on your strengths and weaknesses and to work on different strategies. Teams at the World Cup don't just turn up on match day to play, but start their training weeks before the tournament even starts and continue their training between the matches that they play. Training is continuous and not a once-off thing. The month of Ramadan has just passed us. A lot has been said of how fasting conditions us. The purpose of fasting is given in Surah Baqarah, verse 183. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed to you as it was prescribed to those before you, that you may learn self-restraint, or that you may learn taqwa. Being able to control our desires of food and drink for a period of time, things that are lawful otherwise, should help us build our consciousness that Allah is ever present around us. It builds our willpower, and I'm sure most of us agree we end up doing much more good than we would probably do any other times in the year. Ramadan is not a once-off event, but is a permanent annual training camp for us. Fasting helps to keep us on the straight path of Allah, because without taqwa, it is easy to stray off the path. Surah An-Am verse 153 tells us, "Verily this is my way leading straight. Follow it, follow not other paths. They will scatter you about from his great path. Thus does he command you that you may be righteous." Perhaps you can compare it to keeping up to the required fitness levels to be able to compete. Without having the required fitness levels, we would easily fall behind or fall off the path and not be able to perform our responsibilities to our fullest capabilities. With the result, the team suffers. Team Muslim requires all its individual players to be well trained and able to fulfill their duties to the best of their capabilities. To achieve this, sometimes internal competition may be necessary to get the best out of the team members. Surah Mu'minun, Surah 23, verse 57 to 61 reads, "Verily those who live in awe for fear of their Lord, those who believe in the signs of their Lord, those who join not in worship partners with their Lord, and those who dispense their charity with their hearts full of fear, because they will return to their Lord. It is these who hasten in every good work, and these who are foremost in them." Surah Al Imran verse 133 mentions that we should be quick in the race for forgiveness and for Jannah, telling us that we need to be proactive and not lazy in order to achieve our goal. Discipline is another key factor for a successful team. In Surah Saf, Surah 61 verse 4 we read, "Truly Allah loves those who fight in His cause in battle array as if they were a solid cemented structure." This verse talks about the formation and organization of the Muslim army. Formation is something that is always discussed in soccer. Even from my school days, I remember us discussing what formation to play. 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 3-5-2, and whatever other formation teams decide to use can be a determining factor in their performance. A formation gives structure without which the different roles that each player needs to fulfill cannot be achieved. Breaking the formation opens gaps and weaknesses which can be exploited by the opponents. The importance of the saf or line can be easily understood in a soccer example of teams wanting to play the offside trap. It is important that all the defenders keep to the strict line when playing the trap. One defender out of position will allow the opposing striker to be onside and in enough space to be able to score a goal. An example of this ill-discipline and breaking of formation is found in Surah Al Imran verse 152, with reference to the Battle of Uhud. Allah did indeed fulfill His promise to you when you, with His permission, were about to annihilate your enemy, until you flinched and fell to disputing about the order, and disobeyed it after He brought you in sight of the booty which you covered. Among you are some that hanker after this world, and some that desire the year after. Then did He divert you from your foes in order to test you, but He forgave you, for Allah is full of grace to those who believe. The Prophet ﷺ ordered a group of archers to hold a certain position during the Battle of Uhud. When it seemed that the Muslims were in a winning position, many disobeyed the command and left their posts, creating an opening for the Quraysh army to exploit. This resulted in the Quraysh getting the upper hand in the battle, with many Muslim fighters being martyred and even the Prophet ﷺ being injured. Discipline is closely linked to perseverance. The lack of perseverance, not being able to persist in continuing the task assigned, to give up, is a quality that Team Muslim should not have. The Arabic word for perseverance is sabr, which is often translated as patience as well. The competition amongst each other mentioned earlier is also mentioned in the Quran with reference to sabr. Surah Al-Imran verse 200 tells us, O you who believe, persevere in patience and constancy, vie in such perseverance, strengthen each other, and fear Allah that you may prosper. It is quite interesting to note that the competition to do good works for forgiveness and in perseverance shows that these are all done collectively. It is not one person alone that has to accomplish all this. We should always have our team with us to go through the good times and the tough times together. And this makes it easier to be able to persevere. Using the FIFA World Cup again as an example, to win a game you need to score a goal, and this just doesn't happen quickly. You can't just kick the ball in the direction of the goal and expect to score. There needs to be a build-up, stringing some passes together, getting closer to the opposition's goal until you're in a good position to shoot. And when you shoot, you don't always score. So you have to start all over again. There are 90 minutes in a soccer match, and the attempts to score a goal need to be continued until the teams get the goal. This year's World Cup is a good example in showing how perseverance can pay off. Many matches were deadlocked close to the 90 minutes and even later, but teams persevered in their attacks and were rewarded with late goals which gave them the win. Perseverance is key for Muslims to be successful. We are told in the Quran that most certainly we will experience difficulties and tough times, but those who have sabr will have the good news of success. In Surah Baqarah verse 155 we read, Be sure we shall test you with something of fear and hunger, some loss in goods or lives or the fruits of your toil, but give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere. We move on now to the support from fans and its effects that it has on the team. We here talk about home advantage when a team plays on their home ground. This is not just about being familiar with the conditions, but more importantly about the home team's fans spurring on their players. Whoever has played a match with people cheering you on will know how this gives you motivation to try harder than you normally would, and the team ends up putting on their best efforts. The result often sees the home team doing well and the supporters joining in their celebrations. This is not so much different from how Muslims should support and encourage each other. Surah Nisa verse 85 tells us, Whoever recommends and helps a good cause becomes a partner therein, and whoever recommends and helps an evil cause shares in its burden, and Allah has power over all things. We mentioned earlier, not everyone can do the same things, but each has their own role to play. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran about those who are foremost or the pioneers. It is these that will have the best rewards in the year after because of the special efforts that they have made. But for them to be successful in their efforts in this world, they need the support of others. It may be from the numbers in the helping hands or even in the financial support given to be able to fulfill their visions and goals. Soccer teams may have 11 players on the field, but good fan support can be the 12th man for the team, which helps their team to win. For Muslims to be successful all over the world, it requires every Muslim to do their part so that we can achieve this. The next point that we can use to compare with the Soccer World Cup is that of fair play. In tournaments or even in just a friendly match, we often see people cheating and trying to win at all costs. FIFA has been promoting fair play for quite a while now, which includes not cheating to win, observing the rules, showing respect for the referees, opponents, teammates, and fans, and even resisting corruption and helping others resist the temptation of corruption. This is also something that Muslims are commanded by Allah to do, as verse 90 of Surah Nahl tells us. Allah commands justice, the doing of good, and liberality to kith and kin, and He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. We've even seen a fair play rule being used in the World Cup to determine the group standings when teams have identical records. The yellow and red cards that a team accumulates affects them negatively and has led to teams being eliminated from the World Cup. Yellow and red cards are earned when the players try to cheat or get an advantage, like diving or deliberate handballs, and also by playing dirty, showing no respect for the opposition, or even swearing at the referee. Being kind to others, being just, and behavior of Muslims are addressed in the Quran in many places. One such verse from Surah Ma'idah reads, O you who believe, stand out firmly for Allah as witnesses to fair dealing, and let not the hatred of others make you swerve to wrong and depart from justice. Be just, that is next to piety, and fear Allah, for Allah is well acquainted with all that you do. Even the hatred of others to us should not make us be unjust to them. It may be difficult to do, but the Muslim should strive to achieve this. The training camp that you attended of fasting the month of Ramadan to be able to learn taqwa is put to a test when we are in a situation when we have to deal justly. Will we play fair? To summarize, we are making a comparison between the Soccer World Cup and the Muslim Ummah and what makes a team successful. We looked at training, teamwork, the different responsibilities that everyone has, discipline, perseverance, fair play, and even fan support. All this is needed for a team to win the World Cup. However, the Muslim Ummah, or Team Muslim as I have been calling it in today's lecture, is not here to win a soccer tournament. We need to apply all these aspects in promoting the way of Allah to all and seeing the whole world thrive daily. I conclude with verse 143 from Surah Baqarah. Thus have you made you an ummah justly balanced, that you might be witnesses over the nations, and the messenger a witness over yourselves. Shukran, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.